Hey, what's up and welcome back. So, Minecraft version 1.16 is coming out soon, and it includes some major changes to Redstone, which means a bunch of stuff in my world is going to break. So, I decided to retire it and start a new one. I also just blew past 100 subs on my channel. As of this recording, I'm actually up to 140. So, I figured I'd do a behind the scenes tour of my Redstone world before it gets archived. I typically lose about half of all my viewers by this point, so if you're one of the few that stuck around, you're going to get a little treat here, and I'm going to show quite a few sneak peeks into some of my future episodes. So stick around and we'll get to it. Alright, so let's start at the beginning here. This is the center of my redstone world, and as you can see, I was using sandstone and stone to build with. I didn't really have any sort of organization. I've got different types of builds mixed together. I've got flip-flops, I've got timers, I've got brewing stuff over here, and just kind of like building it down into the ground. I had no idea what I was doing. Um, but eventually I decided I needed to add some organization, so I started using wool here. And that way I was able to color code everything. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. So a major portion of my redstone world here is going to be made out of wool. And then later on, I progressed to using iron blocks because they looked a little cleaner and I could still see the borders. But then I still had trouble with color coding, so I moved on to concrete. And that way we can kind of see what sort of age the build is from based on what it's built out of. So one of the first designs I had here was a tree farm, and this is kind of trying to rebuild something that I'd built a long time ago. But as I was getting back into Redstone, I really had no idea what I was doing. So it's kind of crazy. It just expanded downwards, and you see all sorts of redstone, lots of open space. Had no idea what I was doing with this one. But yeah, it was basically just supposed to farm a tree and then move the logs into this chunk over here. And again, I was experimenting with um, using wool blocks for everything and didn't really turn out in hindsight. But yeah. So then I had a couple more farms. I made a chicken farm, which to this day I still like the idea of building a chicken farm in a giant chicken. And I've actually built this as one of the first builds, at least redstone builds, on every one of my servers that I've ever played. So yeah, that's kind of a neat little guy. It's not super redstoney, so I may never do a tutorial or anything for that on the channel. So only in this video. Then I got a bunch more farms over here and kind of expanded into some stuff that I hadn't seen before. I started messing with shulker boxes and trying to mix them with rails. I got like a little mini super smelter here. And yeah, so components of this I've showed the hipster shulker box unloader, I think was original concept came from that design there. Yeah. Anyway, so then one of the first videos on this channel was due to a Reddit challenge, and I kind of came up with like a little slime machine to make a staircase, and I'll get that started here, but we're not gonna stick around too long. But yeah, basically it moves along and it pulls the stairs up. So that was one of the first videos I made here, and yeah, it was interesting. Nobody really cared, but you know, that's the life of YouTube and Reddit. So over here we have my obsession with Axors, and you can see it started really early in the wool age, and I was doing all sorts of stuff because I was trying to develop a one wide tileable Exor that was silent for one of my mini games, which we'll see later. And you can see it lasted until the Iron Age. I started building everything out of iron and made another video of this guy over here. You can see there's these orange circles underneath a lot of my builds. Those are to indicate that the build is working and I shouldn't mess with it. So it works, and then I copy it over or start a new idea with a new build. Anyway, obsession continued on. Eventually became like a challenge. Some other people participated. I've got submissions from Samos in here, and yeah, lots of Exors. you could say it's an unhealthy obsession. Anyway, that kind of died off for a little bit, and then I started doing item shops. So this whole section here, surrounded in the black outline, is all components of item shops. And I made a couple of these videos, and eventually got really, really bored of it. They're kind of interesting things, but if you spend too much time on any one thing, it gets a little tiring. So then this next section over is the completed builds. So over here are some ones I came up with really early, even before I started doing the YouTube thing. And the designs aren't bad, but I ended up reworking them, and the new ones are much better. So you never really see these on the channel, and you probably never will. But I experimented with using some leaf stone, and it worked out. You know, it wasn't bad. So anyway, you got all the different sorters here going way, way out. And then off in the distance over there is where I typically do my videos. So I'll rebuild whatever one is working and then do a video on it. So yeah, you saw some challenge stuff here. This is the cube swap from Nano, excuse me. And then along these walls here, I've kind of put a lot of the other challenges. So we look at these. This is challenge number 2 on the channel. And over on the other side, we got some more of them. Not all of these are mine. These are some submissions. So eventually when I get around to the solution video for that, you'll see those guys. And over here, we've got our many, many, many versions of the 7-segment display video that I had. So again, we've kind of got 2 sections here. We've got the full build getting tested here, and then we've got components kind of in a row on this side. We fly over to see the different versions. This is the one that I showed in the video. We can see it working here. I'm actually really happy with this. It operates so smoothly compared to other people's. It's a little bit larger and honestly not much more complex. So this should also be functioning for 1.16, so this one shouldn't break. Anyway, moving on from that, I've got some creative builds here. Not really redstone, but you know, some base ideas I thought were pretty cool. I really like these elevators right here, just kind of going up the inside corners with the dark glass. Looks really neat. So I'll probably have those in a build at some point. And then over here, I've got some major towers that I was working on. But that brings us to the other side. This is the mini games that I started from the beginning. We were kind of started over here. And you can see I've progressed from stone to wool and eventually to concrete. So what this here is a duplicate of one of the first mini games I ever made. And that's why it's kind of pretty simple over here. And then I started learning more and more about redstone, redoing it, making it a little bit better. And eventually we get over here to the final product. So this is something I'm definitely going to make a video of. I'm hoping to do it sometime within the next month, but I got a lot of video ideas to get to, so we'll see. Anyway, the concept is that this machine here will randomly generate a pattern of lights along the top here, and your job is to guess what pattern it's going to pick next. So you come down along here with the levers and just say, oh, I think it's going to do 2 off, 3 on, a bunch of them off, and then like maybe this one on, right? And then you come over here, we've got some signs with the user interface on how to use it. This is the output, so if you win, you'll get diamonds in here. And then this is the input, you put a diamond in, press the button, and you'll see it picks a new set of random lights. And we didn't win there because we're not matching hardly any of them. But you can also drop a bunch of diamonds in, change the mode to continuous, press the button, and then step back and watch as it slowly processes your diamonds and plays each one individually. So I think if we get closer here, wait, oh, no, up is continuous. I was wrong. Let's just press that again. All right. Look, we got a little sounds there. Yep, those are the failure sounds. I'm really hoping we get a success here. maybe I'll just cut the video to when we do. Hey, there we go. So that's a winner. We can see we only had 2 that we missed. And if we come down here then, check this out. So we matched 8 out of 10, so we got 8 diamonds. 9 out of 10 it'd get like 32, and 10 out of 10 gets you like 500 diamonds with this guy. So yeah, pretty cool. And you can see it's just slowly using them as it goes. Anyway, moving on from that, we've got some doors here. I hadn't done like anything with piston doors, so I decided to get a little bit into that and got a little distracted with these guys. I was working out some little challenges with like surface area of a cube type things. Anyway, that didn't really go anywhere. And so over here, I started working on some very primitive ideas for some advanced item sorters using minecarts. So I started doing a bunch of minecart stuff here. And if we zoom out over here, you may have seen this in the background of some of my videos, but look at this beast we have out here. This is something that I find truly enjoyable about doing Minecraft in general, is just making these roller coaster looking things, Rube Goldberg machines. Like, they don't really serve an efficient purpose, but man, this kind of harkens back to the days when I was playing like Alpha and InfDev and stuff like that, where you had like these super complicated rail booster systems. Probably not many, if any of you, will be able to remember that, but yeah, good times. So this is supposed to be a shulker box defragmenter. So it takes a couple shulker boxes over there and then sorts the items into order. But I've since broken it, as you can see. It is not working. Anyway, I've got much better and more efficient ways of doing it, but I just thought this is one of my favorite builds in this world. So I'm gonna kind of be sad to see it go. But yeah. Anyway, over here we've got some of these what are these, block conveyors? Yeah, a whole bunch of block conveyors. And then over here we have our mass storage systems. I made a video of this one here. And then over here we have a copy that I got of Samus the Sage's. And then we were doing like little edits to it, trying to see if I could find a way to improve it for him. And we were chatting back and forth about that. So yeah, then over here we have something I haven't done a video of yet. I messed around a whole bunch with item splitters, so that's what these are. They're 9-way item splitters, and I have quite a few working examples, as you can see by the orange, but nothing I was like super happy with. So at some point I'll probably revisit it. Maybe I'll do this one here. This one wasn't bad. It's kind of compact. Yeah. Anyway, then we have another mini game, and I'm kind of starting from the back end here. This is like the most recent development. Kind of started way down here early in the wool age, and you can see the basic concept for it here. So this is based on a arcade game that we have, at least in the US. I think it's probably around the world at different places, but it's a stacker game. So basically the lights kind of go along the top, and then you press a button, and the ones that are directly above the channel fall down, and then they stack on top of one of another. And if you get them to the top, you win a prize. And of course, it's rigged, but you know, little kids don't know that, so they blow all their money. But I think this one is somewhat working, so we're just going to give it a shot here. You press the button, gives you a little noise. You see the lights going across. You press it. Some of them fall down. All right, so we see them down there at the bottom. Sends the next bit. Press it. They stack up. I actually think this left row is broken. Go like that. Press it. Let's see if I can get it with just one here. Press it early. Nope, nope, still got a ball. So the idea is that these lights start going faster and faster, and it makes it harder and harder with the delay you have here. But yeah, right now it's pretty easy because, again, this is like 80% complete and half broken. So we'll just do one more time. It gives you 7 attempts because there are 7 levels here to get to the top. And when I get to the top, you see it's going to give me some celebration stuff, and all this stuff will reset. So yeah, this is actually a build I'm probably going to be doing some showcase of, maybe a tutorial, but this is a ways in the future. Definitely not within the next month. I've got plenty of videos scheduled before then, but yeah, and I have a lot of work to do on it. So this is the latest idea of what I have. So if I can actually I don't know if I'll stop it, but yeah, so you can see the items are kind of going around this hopper chain here, and that's what's making them show up on the front. So the idea for this one is, instead of having like 7 pulses go by of the same thing and then varying the speed, what you're going to start off with is you're going to start off with like a snake that moves around here. And this one's broken into a couple pieces because I pressed the button a couple times already. But it'll start out as like a solid snake, and as you drop stuff down, there'll be fewer and fewer pieces left. So that's kind of how I'm making it more and more challenging. And I think this is actually going to be a lot easier way. And I've also added an instant drop feature here. So let's see. Let's wait for the big one, and then we'll grab it in the middle. So it's coming around. When it gets by the pink terracotta, there we go. See, it grabbed a section out the middle, and I don't have the rest of it built. So I've got pretty much everything I need figured out for this. I just have to build it up together. And I'm actually going to have a falling animation for that too, so that's going to be a really cool build when I finally get it finished. And that kind of wraps us around here. I was messing with Mumbo's button a little bit, and you can see pretty simple in the back, and this isn't even compacted, so yep, slowly working on that. Then out the back here, this is some more challenge stuff. This is the reversible ABBA, a bunch of submissions people sent in, and then off in the distance there, I've rebuilt them all for the video. Over here we have shulker box systems, so a lot of these are work with Rapscallion on making a fully hipster version. We kind of have my semi-hipster version over here. All right, so now that I recovered from that coughing fit, over here we have some shulker box filters and some more stuff I've been doing more recently. And out here, this is the categorizer stuff. And I developed it a little bit farther out just because I knew I was going to have to do much more than what I did there. Wow, this looks really blank. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so these are the builds I had in the video here, and we've just got some variations over here answering people's questions. So yeah, definitely if you ever have a question about my build, don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than willing to throw something together really quick, and a lot of times I know exactly what the problem is, so I'm able to help you pretty quickly with that. So over here we have some more sorting system stuff. This is from the one I did with Rapscallion and Samus the Sage. This is the tiny little one with the dropper elevator. Everybody seemed to like this, and it's been surprisingly buggier than in our testing, which is a little bit sad. So maybe at some point I'll come back and make another video to help people troubleshoot that. Alright, so I think we covered most of this world here. I'm just going to do a quick flyover as I do the outro. You guys can kind of get a sense for the scale of things and kind of where everything's placed. But yeah, I definitely learned a lot over the course of working on this world. And I actually plan on doing a video in the near future that's going to go over some of the things I learned and just give you guys a bunch of tips and tricks in how to set up a redstone testing world so that you can be as productive as possible and maybe avoid some of the pitfalls that I ran into along the way. So anyway, if you guys have some ideas about how you like to make your worlds, or if you have any sort of tips and tricks of your own, please leave those in the comments below. And until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you later. Bye.